I got it. I got it. Okay, so anyway, that's the little stamp. And I'll let you know if the one that I have my name, if that works, I'll let y'all know that too. But this is for you guys. It's your mentoring and coaching session. I just put a few slides together here in case we needed, we had some time and wanted to discuss anything else. We had time. So you guys you didn't send me anything that you wanted to talk about, but that's okay. We can talk about it right here. Anybody want to go? Anybody got any questions? How about someone just tell us who signed today? Who did some signings today? Tell us about your experience.
I'm the only one that signed today.
Well, I did, but I didn't want to share my, well, go ahead, Tamika. Share yours.
Chanel took her mic off. You signed today?
Oh, no, I was actually going to ask you about your rant. You posted something today about somebody, something about a printer. I didn't get to hear all of it, but you sounded pretty upset about that.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am,
yeah.
I was. I received a text message this morning at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. My alarm was up at
6.
No, it was 7. That was the other text message. Personal text. 7 a.m. My alarm is set for 7:15. So I was like, who? I looked over and it was a signing service asking me to confirm the appointment that I accepted yesterday for today at 1 to confirm that I could print. What? Oh, I was irritated. I was like, confirm I could print. So obviously they wouldn't just be asking me that unless they had situations before me where someone could not print. So I was a little irritated because we shouldn't be accepting signings if we don't have a printer. So yes, I was very upset about that. But I went ahead and I told them, yes, I will be able to print. I will be able to print. I will be printing about 12 because it's at 1. But thank you for checking on me at 7.
So you have a signing at 1 and you don't print until 12. You don't print until an hour before?
Well, I printed like at 11 because I left the house at 12.
Okay.
But I didn't print at 7 this morning. That was before I even woke up my son for school.
Do you want to what about what you had a reverse mortgage application?
Yeah, that was it. It was a reverse mortgage application. Now y'all know the story behind me and reverse mortgages. I will do the applications, but now I'm starting to think maybe I'm not going to do those either. Because this appointment was scheduled for 1 and I walked out that man's house at 3:30 for an application. He took 30 minutes to find his driver's license. He took 20 minutes to find a bank statement. He took another 15 minutes to bring me a reward letter that was from 2012. So he really didn't have all the paperwork he needed. So I called the lender. I was like, well, we're going to have to reschedule this because he doesn't have everything he needs. And they told me, go back up in there and just get all the signatures and we'll worry about the rest later. And I was so sad. I was so sad. But I went on back up in there and I finished it up. He signed everything. So there we have it, folks.
And since you're talking about printers, is there a printer that you suggest?
I've only had one and it was gifted to me. So I'm really not the printer guru, but mine is a HP. It's an HP. And when I got it, it didn't have the second tray or third tray. How many trays we have? So I had to get the tray from Amazon and it was like $160.
Okay, great.
Who asked that question about a printer?
Miss Robin.
Robin?
Yes, ma'am.
I recommend that you get the Brothers dual tray or an HP with the dual tray. And we will cover the printers in class, but that won't be until the 22nd. So now let me just tell you about the printers. If I were real good with the computers, I would actually get out of this PowerPoint and pull up the printers that I recommend.
Let's not
Oh.
do that.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do that. So, what I'm gonna ask you to do, if you don't mind, is to just shoot me a text message, and
Okay.
I will send you that slide that shows the printers that you can get. And the printers are hard to find now, so you may want to start looking. And
Okay.
they've also tripled in price since I bought.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and what you're also gonna see on that PowerPoint that many of you may have already seen is I went to a lease printer in February of this year, and I will love it. I love it. But
Oh, great.
I still keep my HP as a backup.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Don't forget to send me that text message, because you know I'm an old lady. I'll forget.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anything else?
I think the only question that I had was about the notary renewal process.
Uh-huh.
Last time when I originally did this through the NSA website, I would just the website, it just had like a general insurance that you could get, like the minimum. I think you've mentioned it in the past, but what are some of the good places or the good insurance that you would recommend?
Now, Chanelia, I think I'm trying to remember. I think your notary commission is going to be up next year. Is it next year or is it 23?
Yeah, it's 2022.
Okay, when you go in to renew, you're gonna renew, and I don't recommend you renew any sooner than say 6 weeks before your expiration. Ordinarily, I'd say 30 days, but because it's taking longer now, everybody blames everything on the pandemic. Renew when about 6 weeks before your commission expires. And then when you go through, and you'll go through the national, I recommend, you can get it, you can do it anywhere. I recommend that you go through the National Notary Association to renew. And when you go to the website, you just click on Texas, of course, for your state, and renew. You're going to renew your commission. And then it'll just walk you through how to do that. With your notary commission, you have to automatically get the surety bond, which is $10,000. Now, when it's time to renew as an NSA, and you want to get the insurance, the errors and omissions insurance, you can get, you have to have a minimum of 25,000, but I recommend that you do 100,000. People are more apt to hire you with 100,000 than they are if you have just a minimum 25,000.
Okay.
Okay.
And it'll all be on that website.
Yeah, you can find all of that on the National Notary Association website. Yes, ma'am. Anything else?
I have another question.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I'm the newest one at this game, but I'm terrified. I'm terrified that I'm gonna do something wrong, and I'll probably will take my exam for NSA next week and hopefully pass, because I've been studying. And then when I have that certificate in hand, what's the first thing I should do? And I'm trying to wait to the class until the 22nd to get started, but I need to start making money.
Robin, let me address your fear first.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay to be scared. Because see, you want to have enough fear that you're cautious, but not so much fear that it paralyzes you.
Okay.
So anytime you're doing anything new, it's going to be a little bit intimidating. So do not allow that to stop you from moving forward. And like you said, it's time for you to start making some money.
Right.
While you, now, as far as the exam is concerned, you said you've been studying.
Yes.
How long you been studying?
I guess about a little over a week.
Okay, you're gonna need to pull the trigger on that one, babe.
Okay.
Just pull the trigger. Now, have you been using the code of conduct?
Yes.
That's one of the things. Well, if you keep that code of conduct next to you while you're taking that little exam, I think it's like 45 questions.
Mhm.
All right, you keep that in on because it's an open book. So you keep that in front of you. You take your time because you know how sometimes they will give you trick questions. They'll
Yes.
put an A in there when there should be a the or whatever to change the
Mhm.
meaning. So you just take your time and read it and make sure you understand the question. And then you just go ahead and take that test. Here's the other thing. The way they do it now, if you put the wrong answer in there, it's going to give you a hint and tell you that's the wrong answer. But
Mhm.
most of those questions are questions that it's deductive reasoning. It's like, well, you know, these three can't be it. So, you know, this one is it.
Okay.
And it takes you through a little process. You have to go through a little video where they give you some practice stuff too. You
Okay.
go through that and you're fine. And you're gonna call me and you're gonna tell me. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Bless you.
You're not gonna call me and tell me that.
Okay, I will.
You're gonna call me and you're gonna tell me how you passed that test and that test was so easy and you got 100. But you don't need to make 100. That's the other thing. You do not need to make 100. You just need to get 80%. You need to get 80%. And most
Okay.
of what's on that test, you will never use it, just like you do in college. If you
Exactly.
yeah, you're going to go into practical applications, but you
Okay.
do have to pass the test in order to be NNA certified. So don't be too intimidated by any of this. Like I said, have enough fear to be cautious, and
Mhm.
you want to keep that fear. You don't want to say, hey, I know everything now, I'm not afraid anymore. Always keep just a little bit of that fear that will help you to always do an excellent job.
So I'm hoping for.
Oh, you will. I know you will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you get scared, call me.
I will.
All right.
Liz, this here.
Yes, ma'am.
Quick question. This Tina.
Hey,
I know
Tina.
this is crazy. Do we have to take the test every year?
Yes, ma'am. You have to recertify every year for
Okay.
the National Notary Association certification. Your notary commission, of course, that's every 4 years.
Right. Okay. So I gotta get rid of that. Okay. That's right.
And that was not a crazy question.
Okay. So I'm like, I couldn't remember. I'm like, we do this every year, the test or not?
Say that again.
I was trying to figure out if I was supposed to do it every year, take the certification test every year.
Yeah, you take the recertificate, you take the certification, NNA, the signing agent certification, you will take that every year.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Anything else? Well, if you think of anything else, just let me know. I'm just gonna share a few things with you, that might help you along your way. We already talked about this stamp. I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna let Tanika take this from here. You see that's pink, so you know it's her.
You know it's me, baby. This is just one of my favorite quotes. We don't have a choice on whether we do social media. The question is how well we do it. I believe most of you know that I have a digital marketing firm, Pretty and Branding. So I do want y'all to be thinking about how you're promoting your businesses on those social media platforms. That's the easiest way to get business. Now, I know for loan signing, that's going to be, you know, our signing services, but don't sell yourself short on the general notary work. You can make just as much money, you know, put it out there on, you don't have to have separate pages either. Definitely have a Google My Business page, but, you know, put it on your Facebook page. You know, people might not even like it. They may not share it, but they saw it, you know, because it came on their news feed. So you always want to be promoting your business all day, every day. Don't just post pictures of your dog and what y'all have for dinner. Post something that's going to make you some money so you can continue to eat out at those nice restaurants. Next slide, please. Were you over there playing, ma'am?
No, Donna said she got disconnected, so
Oh,
I'm just gonna, go ahead, I'll catch up.
okay. So tonight we are giving away, I have an ebook on my website, so we are giving one free ebook away. I forgot, did we decide how we were going to decide who got the ebook?
That was your job.
Well, you know, I love to do raffles. So we'll do a raffle in the chat, and like we do in classes. Let's do a number between 1 and 10. 1 and 10. Everybody put in the chat. Liz, are you ready to watch the chat?
Yes,
Well, I
ma'am.
guess I could watch it. All right, let me get my random number out.
Oh, somebody just got mine.
Huh?
I said, darn, someone just got mine.
Well, you can get that, that's
That's
not,
fine.
yeah.
I'll put in a different one.
No, leave it as it is. All right, that's what happens when you're the owner. If it's 2 winners, we give 2 books out. No biggie.
Okay.
The number is 4.
The number is 4, let's see. We don't have a 4.
You don't have a 4?
You want to do it again, or you want to go to the closest one?
Yeah, just go to the closest one.
Then that's going to be Robin.
Yay.
So who else was with Robin?
Robin, nobody? I only got
She
one.
said she
I
said
left it. I left it
okay.
at 5.
She changed her number.
I
Oh,
left
wait
it
a
at
minute, wait a minute. Oh, Tina, that's a 2. I can't see.
Right. I was like, she said someone. So Robin and Tina, if you could please,
No, Tina had a 2. I read it as a 5. I
oh,
wasn't.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah, Tina and Shanelia got 2, but Robin's the only one with 5.
Well, are you sure?
Yeah, I didn't change my number back to the original. I just stayed with 5.
Oh, you hadn't put it in the chat.
Right. I just, yeah, so I put 5.
So you were confusing me, Robin.
I'm sorry.
If you could put your email address in the chat, and I will send you your ebook.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna write it down. And so for anyone else, the ebook is available online on my website, prettyandbranding.com. It's only $10.99, and it's a good read. It has a lot of good tips for you. So think about getting that. And then Robin, when you put that in, I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
So you got it in the chat?
I do not yet. There we go.
There it is.
I was about to say, well, I didn't have to wait for that anyway.
No, you did not.
So did that bring up any, let me go back. Hello?
That was Donna coming back on.
Okay, are there any, you guys got any?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Okay. She mentioned Google My Business page.
Hold on.
page.
Donna, can you,
Hold on.
Donna, can you mute yourself, please? There we go.
And Donna, when you want to speak, just take it off mute. But there's a lot of background noise. Okay, Sonia.
Yes. You missing my Google page. I tried to do that and it got flagged. And I'm having issues trying to get that resolved because they like shut down my page. Google did. And I don't know if it's, yeah,
ahead,
I have
sorry.
my other business attached to my home address. So I'm not sure, they didn't give me no answer yet. If that got something to do with it, because my accounting business I use my home address. And then I'm gonna use the notary as, of course, my home address as well. So I'm not sure why, but yeah, they shut me down. I haven't heard back exactly why.
They didn't give you a reason why?
Yeah.
Okay, they have a customer service and they're pretty good. But having multiple business at one address would not be the reason, because I have multiple businesses in my address. So that's not it. But their customer service is really good. Have you tried?
I tried before, but I'll try again because I haven't heard back. They got the little boxes they're talking about. They got limited support and it may take longer than usual to contact them. Collect with them.
Can I chime in on that? This is Regina. I experienced that as well. And it happened to me right when I started trying to update because I've had my Google My Business account since maybe May of 2019. And this summer I was trying to do some updates where I was trying to, tweak some of the services that I offer and put some new pictures. Well, they shut mine down. And there was somewhere where I went in and it says, they don't give you the reason, but it said it can be one of these reasons. It was like a list of things. And so what they were basically, what I basically gathered from all of the different things they listed, it was like they were wanting to verify that my business was legit. So one of the things they said that you can do is post a picture with a shirt on that has your business name or something with a logo, which I didn't have. Or they said that I could provide something to them that shows my business was legit. And all I did was provide the information that's on the Secretary of State, where it shows that I have an EIN number. And I sent that over and they unlocked it.
Okay, I'll try that with my DBA. I got my DBA. I'll try that and see what happens. Thank you for that.
Your DBA should be able to do it. If you don't have anything that has your logo on it for your business, send over your, and you should see maybe a little way to submit stuff to them. Send that over and just say, this shows that my business is registered. I have a DBA, and you should get an email that they're going to turn it back on.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Regina, I was waiting for you to pipe in. I didn't want to mention that I wanted, because I'm like, well, I don't know if she wanted me to tell that,
Yeah, because you remember when I told you when it happened to me, I was devastated.
Because it works, right? Man.
Yes. I was like, oh my God. I said, Liz, they shut my Google My Business page down. I was like really upset about it.
Yeah.
But they're not going to really give you all the specifics. But I kind of saw someone post something before that kind of told people what to do, and what they were really looking for from you is to know that your business is a legitimate business. And that it actually exists.
One other thing, one of you mentioned that they said, take a picture of yourself with wearing something that has your logo on it. Now, I'm not wearing my shirt today.
You sure not?
No, because I ran out of time. I was going to go change, but I wear my shirt sometimes when I do signings as well. But today, I just felt like a burgundy day. And most of my shirts are white, but anything that you have, your t-shirts, advertise yourself, instead of advertising for Nike or advertising for Michael Kors or whoever, just get that shirt. I just happen to like white and blue, but you put your, I have my name and most of them say Liz Head Notary Trainer on them. And of course, I get to write off that shirt. I get to write off having it embroidered because it's for business. So I wear my shirts to my signings as well. Sometimes I just, especially in the winter, I want to just put that shirt on with a pair of leggings and my cowboy boots. I'm ready for my signing. So, you know, consider doing something like that. The next time you buy a blouse, you just have your name put on. You don't want to have it embroidered. You know, you're going to get that stuff that you press on. It ain't going to last as long, but just get yourself a press on until you can do embroidery, because embroidery can get a little bit expensive.
Yeah, I agree, Liz. And so, yeah, just to everyone, be very careful. Now that things are opening up, Google is paying a little bit closer attention to things. And so it's always good to post a picture, even if you just have like your business. Let's say you have pens or you have a coffee cup, you know, take a picture of yourself, you know, maybe drinking some coffee or something, because now they have the time now to go back and start looking at things. And that's when you will begin to see stuff like that happen.
Yeah, and if you don't have a mug, because I don't have a mug with my name on it, but do something like, you know, just take a picture of yourself. You're holding up your business card and say, hey, look, here's my business card. Or, you know, just anything. Like I passed out 10 business cards today, but you're holding your card in your hand, but you got to make sure if that card is close enough to the camera so that it's legible. Just something that simple. Anything else? Well, I'm just going to give you a little bit of information, but again, this is your mentoring coaching session. So any questions that may pop up, just go ahead and pop in and ask the questions. But I thought I would just prepare a little something for you, just general information type stuff. So I'm just going to give a scenario, because I see a lot of times on some of our Facebook groups where people are upset or they're mad about the packages, the loan packages being so large. Well, I thought, well, let me just explain why some of the packages are so large, and especially a cash out. Now, this is a package I had the other day, and it was 246 pages. And remember, I had to print it twice. The fee was $150, but you see the fee here of $190. Well, that's because $40 of that $190 is the room fee. You get reimbursed for that room fee. So with these packages, a lot of the stuff you're doing nothing with other than printing. So I just kind of do, it's like if it's over 3 pages in that document and there's no signature required on those pages, I just bundle them with a rubber, I just clip them with a paper clip. So when I get to the closing, all they've got to do is turn those pages over. And I also just said, well, the deed of trust. The deed of trust of the mortgage can sometimes be, you know, this particular one was 17 pages, but I've seen the deed of trust 20, 21 pages. But basically, you're just turning those over as well. And then the application itself, the application in this package was 10 pages. Well, I was only looking for 2 initials and a signature page. So basically, you're doing nothing with those 10 pages other than looking for those signatures. There were other miscellaneous documents that did not require any type of signature. There were 40 of those pages. And a lot of those pages in a cash out, the lender has got to include a lot of, especially in Texas, you've got to include a lot of the Texas Constitution for cash outs. You don't have to do anything with it, but it's got to be in there. The lender's got to put that in that package, okay? But you just clip those together. They may not all 40 of these pages were not necessarily right together. Like I said, if it's more than 3 pages, I clip them together. Then I just tell the borrower to turn those over because there's nothing for them to sign. However, they do have a copy of it in their package if they want to look at it later. But now here's the kicker. In this particular package, there were 36 notarizations required. I added 8. You know my stamp I showed y'all at the beginning? There were 8 pages, 8 notarial certificates that needed to have the venue added. There were 3 pages that I had to witness or I had to complete. One was the bank disbursement form. I just had to witness that they signed that. No, I had to notarize that one. Not all of them will need that. And then the other 2 were the Patriot Act that I had to complete. I was 5 miles from my house. Now you look down here. If this were general notary work and they were individual notarial certificates, you would have been paid $6 per certificate. So 6 times 36 is $216. That's general notary work. But for this loan signing, like I said, I got $140 for it. You know, because I got 190, but 40 of it was reimbursed. Yeah, it's a room fee. So I don't count that as money I make. I do get reimbursed for it, but it's not money that I make. Now, why wouldn't I have asked them to give me $216? Because it's unrealistic, in my opinion, because a lot of what we do, yeah, you got to print all that stuff. So yeah, you just used over a ream of paper, but a lot of this is just moving paper around. In addition to that, the next one that I get may be 150 pages, or it might be 200 pages, but I may only have 10 notarizations. Not all lenders or not all title companies will require that all of these documents are notarized. For instance, it's seldom that a disbursement, you know, telling the lender or telling the title company that they want their money wired. It's seldom that I see they want that document notarized. In this particular package, it was one that they wanted notarized. Several other documents, one title company may require notarization, another one may not. So I will do cash outs all day long, you guys, all day long. 90% of everything I do are cash outs. And it's because I do have access to the title companies here in my area, a couple of title companies, well, 3 or 4, and an attorney's office that I use. And that keeps me from going out to people's homes so much. I know where these title companies are. They're only 17 minutes. One is 17 minutes from my house. The other one's about 15 minutes from my house. I love it. I love my cash outs. I do not like, Tamika, you want to tell them which ones I don't like?
I believe it's the buyers.
You're right.
Buyer package.
Those purchase, I do not like purchase. Can somebody give me a reason why you would think I would not like a buyer's package, a purchase deal? Packages are small. Why don't I like?
They ask a lot of questions.
Look at you. They really don't ask a lot of questions necessarily. However, I feel obligated to explain more. I do a refinance. Hey, they've done this before. They've done it's nothing new to them. So there aren't as many questions. In addition to that, so that's one thing. The other thing is if you're doing a buyer package, a purchase package, those doggone real estate agents or mortgage loan officers are going to, they're gonna show up sometime. Most times, they show up. And when they show up, it slows down the process because they want to explain, they want to do your job for you. Some of them do, some of them do. So because they want to do your job and they want to explain what you've just explained, or they want to jump in before you have an opportunity to explain, it takes longer. It takes longer. And also, oftentimes, the loan officers and the real estate agents are of the opinion that we don't know what we're doing. See, that's because they have not been in a closing with an EC head notary training workshop participant. So we know what we're doing, but there are some people who do not know how to explain the documents. So they think it's good when the loan officer or the real estate agent take over for them. However, I caution you, oftentimes they think they know what they're saying, but they may be giving wrong information. When that happens, how do you handle that? Somebody tell me. Regina Kennedy, how do you handle it when you know a loan officer or a real estate agent has just given the customer incorrect information? How do you handle that?
Because I actually experienced that. Normally I'll just chime in and I'll say, I'll just say thank you. I'll just say thank you for that explanation. And I'll say, but I do have some additional information I want to share about what, so-and-so just said, so that, you have a better, clear picture of it. And that's how I'll go and I'll give my blurb part of it.
See, Regina is real nice. Anybody else have an experience? What do you do? What do you do, Tamika?
I let them finish, and I don't say thank you, Regina. I don't, because I didn't ask you to do that. I just let them say what they say, and I just go ahead and explain it the way I was going to explain it. I don't even I pretend like that didn't even happen.
Right. And that's exactly what I do. I let them do what they're going to say, and then I say what it really is, and I point to whatever I might be saying that's in that document. I point to that. Now, I will tell you, a couple weeks ago, I left one and I was cussing like a sailor when I left.
Yes, you were.
Because I had the real estate agent and I had the loan officer there. And the real estate agent was just hovering over this man. And he would not let me get a word in edgewise. Well, then the loan officer thought, I guess she thought, these are my documents, so I need to chime in. So they both are hovering over him. I dropped my pen, I backed up. I said, now, do y'all want to do this closing or do you want me to do it? The loan officer, bless her heart, she was the one who had a right to hover. She immediately backed off. That real estate agent who was saying all the wrong things, he kept hovering. And then I just kept going through the documents. And when he would say something, I would interrupt him. I was being rude. I interrupted him, explained the document, pushed the next document to the guy to sign. And then when I was done, I said, it's been my pleasure. Thank you so much. Here's my card. And left. You cannot allow the loan officer or the real estate agent to take over your job. You want to be professional. You want to be engaging, but there comes a point when you have to stop them, or you will be there for 2 hours. And that's not a good use of your time. So you have to be nice about it. And then of course, you're looking for more business. So if you're looking for more business from them, that real estate agent, no, thank you. But the loan officer, She was cool. Gave her my card. But no, you are in control. When you walk into that room to do a closing, you own that room. And you're going to let it be known that you own that room by your sure presence. And if you're new, like some of you are, you're going to fake it until you are comfortable. But you do not allow them to control your signing, because look at it this way. If they do something wrong under the instructions of the lender, the loan officer who's there, or the real estate agent who's there, they're not the ones who are going to have to go back and make that correction. Give you another example. The Social Security Administration document. That little real estate agent was trying his best to make a point of whether or not they were supposed to put in 90 days in this one spot. I let him go. He kept trying to get my documents out of order. Remember, you got to keep your documents in order. I saw something on Facebook the other day that said, oh, just pull these documents out and then sign those. No, please don't do that. And then I saw something else that said, shrink to fit. No, please don't do that. But if we had allowed him to have that guy fill out that part of that form, then that they may have sent that back to you to go get corrected. Since it's not a form that has to be notarized, they may have just sent it to him, but that's still an inconvenience. So make sure that you do not allow them to control your closing. It was not really a closing because it's a signing, because it's not closed until it gets back to the title company and they do all of the disbursement of funds, and they sign for their part, so forth and so on. That was a long story just to tell you you're in control. Who agrees? Who disagrees, I should say. We good?
We're good.
All right. Then the next thing that I just wanted to share with y'all are vital records. And this is important for those of you who are doing general notary work. Oftentimes people will ask you to notarize documents, and they will ask you to notarize copies. Well, just know, vital records, which are birth certificates, marriage certificates, death certificates, and that contains personal information, and that's considered vital records. They can't be copied or notarized. Okay, Texas, California, I got Texas, California, and Texas, do not allow birth certificates to be used as a form of identification. And they cannot be used as a form of identification because there's no photo and there's no signer's signature. So oftentimes, you will see on your secondary forms of ID, they will say a birth certificate can be used. Well, it can be used for a secondary, but it absolutely cannot be used as your primary. It must have it. Your primary ID must have a photo and a signature. So vital records. Anybody got any questions on vital records? Y'all smart. Just some samples of some vital records. So now, suggestions for when to ask for more money. Somebody read my disclaimer up there.
This is a suggestion and not to be considered price fixing. Each person has to decide on fees he or she will accept.
Yes, ma'am. So when to ask for more money? It depends on the fee. This is what I do, okay? And it depends on the fee that I have accepted. If the fee is $90, and a lot of them are $90 that I will accept, that's the lowest that I will accept, but I've been doing this for almost 7 years. So if a package is over 200 pages, I ask for $20 more. If the package is over 200 pages and a scan back, I ask for $20, the same $20. I don't do a double dose, so it would be 40. It's just 20. I just leave it at 20. If it's just a straight scan back, I may or may not ask for anything. But if it's you know, it depends. I'm talking if it's $90. If it's $100 already, I'm not going to ask for an increase. If it's 110, I'm not going to ask for an increase. Okay, now, regardless of the fee offered, if there's a second mortgage, and this is another reason I don't like purchases, and this is typically seen with down payment assistance, oftentimes the hiring companies, they may or may not know that there is a second mortgage attached to a file, or they don't know what it means. But if there is a deed, a note, a recapture agreement, I ask for an increase of $60. If there is no deed, no note, no recapture agreement, it's usually just one page explaining a little down payment assistance, I do not ask for an increase. Now, one of the companies that I've been signing with for quite a while, and I've seen several down payment assistance mortgages with it. Last week, those fools told me that that was not a second mortgage. It was a subordinate lien. All right, well, what do you think a second mortgage is? Your second mortgage is subordinate to your first. So anyway, they wanted to argue the point. I just said, okay. Now, when I see, and they were mean about it. They were mean about it. They weren't trying to hear. I don't need to check with so-and-so and so-and-so. I know da-da-da-da-da. The next orders that came through for them, I just put my phone down. Because one other thing, we have got to make sure we want to be respectful of our hiring companies, but it goes both ways. No one should be able to treat you, to disrespect you and have you just suck it up. You don't have to do that. So,
Liz,
yes, ma'am.
I wanted to share some good advice that you gave me regarding that second mortgage, because you were the one who actually helped me to understand that sometimes when you get those purchase packages, sometimes you can get them at the last minute and you have time to print, but you really don't have time to flip through the package. Well, Liz, I think I was on my way to a signing and I got in the parking lot and I had a couple of minutes and I started flipping and I said, oh, this is this has a second mortgage. And so I reached out to the company, said something similar to what Liz did, and they went back and forth. They were polite about it, and they went back and forth with me. So I spoke to Liz, and Liz said, well, you have to make a decision. You're at the signing, you're getting ready to go in. Is this a company you want to continue to do business with? Which I did. Just let them know next time that it's going to be an additional fee. So I think they were paying me maybe 90 or 100. I can't really recall. So I still went in and did the signing, but then I did come back and I had a conversation. I said, going forward, when there is a second mortgaging, my fee is XYZ. And they said, and they were like, okay, yes, that's not a problem. And so I set that level of expectation with them after, but I still performed the signing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oftentimes it's about making the decision about what you want to do with your business and whether or not it is worth $60 ain't gonna make or break me. Now you're giving me a whole lot of business. So I'm like, okay, but I've already had this conversation previously with the people who were there before, which leads me to another point. People change. The companies they work for change. So even though it seems like a lot of companies, it's a very small community with our hiring communities and our title companies. So they move around. People may be working for XYZ today, but next month they're working for ABC. That's good and that's bad, because if they're working for ABC next month, they're going to remember you. And then when they go to ABC, they're going to be on the phone to you saying, hey, will you come work with me? I'm at ABC now. That's great. On the other hand, over here, the company where they were, there's a new person in place there who may or may not know what they're doing. They're still in training, or they just have their way of doing it because they may have come from ABC over to XYZ. And now they're doing things their way. They're taking on that company's personality. So they may be different, but they don't know you. So they too have brought their favorite people, their favorite signing agents over to that company with them. So it happens that way. And you just have to be mindful of that. And you have to have enough, after you've been in it for a while, you will establish a relationship with 5 or 6 companies that you work with regularly. So if one of them falls out, you're still good because you still got that 4 or 5. And then you may add another one, but you're going to vet them just like they vet you to see if it's somebody you want to work with. Just because they send a text message, you look at it and you might decide, I'm not going to work with them. But you make your own decision. I also just saw a Facebook post. Someone said, have you worked with, I'll just tell you who it is. Have you worked with Firma Signing Solutions? And they got some responses. Well, oh, they pay low. Oh, they take 45 days to pay. Keep moving or something like that. Well, my response is, I love Firma. I don't do a lot for Firma, but I have been working with them for 6 years. Claudia Miller and Jim Miller are awesome. They are respectful. They pay according to their contract. Yes, they pay 30 to 45 days. They've gotten a little bit faster with it now because they used to mail that check and now they've gone to e-check. But I love Firma Solution. I don't do a lot for them because typically the fee that they're offering is just below what I will accept now. But every once in a while, just to keep the relationship, and especially if they're in a crunch, I'm gonna take care of them. So you have to make your decisions based on who you want to work with. And it does not matter. You could have somebody who's paying you $200 for a signing, but they have poor communication skills or they're disrespectful. I say move on. You don't need that $200. I'd rather go work for 2 other people or one person who's going to pay me $100, but they're going to give me 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are respectful. Now, that's just my opinion. What I'm telling you right now, this is my opinion. So you have to make up your own mind or listen to somebody else's opinion. How about that? Any questions on that? Somebody share their opinion. What are your opinions? I can't be the only one who's got an opinion.
I prefer respect.
Kanisha, you just jumped on. I didn't see you a while ago. What you think?
Oh, okay. I agree with you. You develop, business and relationships with people based on your own personal opinions, and a lot of times your encounters are individually based. So it doesn't mean that just because you had a bad experience with them today it's not going to be, the same way in the future. So you set the precedence and then you move forward with that. I'm
Now, I
new
like-
to this, so.
I like what you just said though, and that is true. Somebody could just be having a bad day. So if they mess up one time, I don't know, I gotta think about 3 times. I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
3 chances. Now, after that 3rd chance, I'm gonna cut you.
Yeah. And here's the thing, it's just like any relationship that you have. Once you've allowed yourself to explain your standards and your expectations from that person, and they continue to just do what you suggested not be done, then that's when you need to move on. I'm learning that.
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
You cut
Yes.
the time, it's no different than any other relationship. It's just business now.
That's true. Thank you. I knew you had something to say. I knew you did. Who else got something to say about that?
I have something to say again, Liz.
Go right ahead, girl.
Some of the companies that I choose to sign with that somebody may or may not choose as favorable, I base it on what works well for me. I'm a part-time loan signing agent. I have a full-time job. So I don't have a whole lot of time to do a 200-page refi that's going to take me about an hour, to do to make $200. I might take that, $85 seller package that's 12 or 13 pages, because that might work better for me in my time, maybe during my lunch or something like that I can do. So but I had to learn that, because at first I was trying to do what I saw everybody else do. And once I established my own process and listened to what you were telling us in our training, things began to come together for me, and it works well for me now, with who I sign with, which is probably about 2 main companies now.
Mhm. Thank you, Regina. Anybody else? All right. I thought I'd just share a little community property state information with you, because oftentimes when we're signing and you have a situation where there's a spouse who is not on the loan. Well, if it is a community property state such as Texas, and what's considered in a, well, I don't know why I'm stumbling over my lips. In a community property state, all of the marital assets are jointly owned. So they must be jointly split in the event of a divorce. Some examples include real estate, and this is often referred to as a non-participating spouse, or an NPS. And that NPS, non-participating spouse, must be at the closing for the state of Texas. But this marital asset also is true for personal property, savings, retirement accounts, debts acquired during marriage. And now this is as a result of the Uniform Marital Property Act of 1983. And this act defined the ownership of property in a marriage and outlined how these assets would be separated in the event, God forbid, there is a divorce. All right. The states that have the common law laws are listed here. Okay. Arizona, California, Idaho, Louisiana, Nevada, New Mexico. Here we are, Texas, Washington, and Wisconsin. Now, Ms. Marshall, you see Alabama ain't on here, so you say. So Alaska is not one of the 9 states, but they do have the opportunity to do this through a written contract. Oftentimes, when there is a non-participating spouse, the participating spouse will say, well, she doesn't have to be she doesn't have to be at the closing because she's not on the note. Well, she's not on the note, but she will be on the deed of trust. And she must sign the deed of trust. And there are several other title documents that the non-participating spouse must sign. So if you get an order and only one name is shown, it may be a little bit uncomfortable, but I ask, what is your marital status? And if they tell you that they're married, make sure, and then they say, but she's not on the loan, then that's your opportunity to tell them that that person must be at the closing. Because if you get to the closing and the non-participating spouse didn't come, then that means you got to sit and wait until that non-participating spouse gets there, or it's going to be necessary for you to reschedule. So I try to always ask if you know, there's what the marital status is. With that being said, though, let me tell you, okay, Rush Hour Notary, you have a question?
No, Liz, I just joined.
Oh, who is that? Who's Rush Hour Notary?
That's me, Liz. That's Gannon.
Gannon, I was just talking about you earlier. I didn't tell him it was you, though.
Oh, okay.
It was about FIRMA. Did you see my response? For FIRMA Signing Solutions, you asked a question?
Oh, yeah, I did. I hadn't been back on the group yet. I didn't see it.
Yeah, they're good to work with. But anyway, now you made me lose my train of thought. Oh, no. I was just going to tell a story about a closing I was at one day last week. Maybe Friday. That was my last one of the evening. So I'm tired because I'd done 4 that day, I think. I don't typically do 4 because I'm an old lady. But Mika has me traveling a lot, so I got to make some money. But we're sitting there, we're starting the process. I'm about a third of the way done. And I notice Mrs. is writing this note. And I'm like, what on earth is she writing? Because she is a non-participating spouse. And then she shoves this note over to Mr. He glanced at the note and he shoved it back and he says, I'm not signing that. And she said, well, I'm not signing these papers. So I looked from one to the other. I just kind of put my pen down. And he said, look, you have to sign these papers because we're not divorced yet. We got a little bit uncomfortable. And he turns to me and he said, will you tell her that because we're not divorced yet, she has got to sign these papers? I put both hands on the desk and I looked at him in all sincerity. And I said, I'm just a notary. I'm not an attorney. And I waited a minute. She said, okay, I'll sign. Now, what would you do? Somebody tell me what you would have done in a situation like that.
I'd advise the exact same thing. I am not your legal advisor. Honey, if you don't feel you want to be a part of this, whatever this is, you might want to seek legal counsel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think that's what I would have done too.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I mean, I probably would have told him to call your lender and discuss that with your lender, but at this time, I'm going to have to stop this signing right now.
Yeah. Good one. What you don't want to do is to get in the middle of a discussion like that. And you don't want to start saying, well, because you're trying to get this done, but you don't want to, I don't want to say take sides, or you don't want to be in the middle.
And once you provide advice you can't get out of.
Huh?
Oh, I'm not muted. Oh. I said you don't start providing advice you can't get out of.
That's right. And you know, the way I look at it, I'm not going to say or do anything that I can't defend in court. Because if she were to go in there and say, well, she made me sign it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just became, you know, even though, see, I got all this experience, I know the answers, but as a loan signing agent, that is not our job. To explain to them that, yeah, you're not divorced, so you need to sign. If you want to get this money, you need to sign. Don't even come into it. I don't know what the issues are. I don't want to hear the story. I'm just here to collect these signatures, make sure you have dated where you're supposed to date, make sure you sign where you're supposed to sign, make sure I've notarized the signatures that I'm supposed to notarize. That's my job here. And for me to fall back on, I've been doing this for 7 years, y'all. And I bet you that was only the second time I said, I'm just a notary. I'm just the notary. So, yeah, so we want to be mindful of what we're doing, but you want to recognize when there is a non-participating spouse, make sure that non-participating spouse is at your closing and they are signing where they're supposed to sign.
Ms. Liz?
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to chime in and still learning so much, but being on the flip side of that, I have received calls from the title company or attorney from a closing, during a closing in a similar, in that type of scenario. They would call us, the closers, and have us to advise them. And being in the state of Alabama, they will have to sign, or if it's a purchase money mortgage, we can amend the mortgage and add that language. This is a purchase money transaction, which would dismiss the spouse not having to sign the documents. So being on the flip side of that, I've received several calls in several situations like that from title companies advising on what to do.
Well, see, in the state of Alabama, according to my source, of course, is Quicken Loans Learn community. Alabama is not a community property state, so you can pretty much do whatever you want to with that. But marital property, Quicken they go right on, and it says for the community property laws, it covers property or assets that are bought or obtained throughout the marriage. For example, if a spouse uses their individual earnings to purchase a car, both spouses still own that car equally. However, this only extends to purchases made during the course of the marriage. The community property laws only extend to assets obtained between the beginning and the end of the marriage. Any assets acquired before the marriage begins or after it's dissolved is considered separate property.
Do you have to have been married for so many years, Liz?
Do you have to? No, well, see, if you've been married, let's say that Regina, you decide to step out there and marry that old boy you've been courting. Today, anything that you have acquired up to today, that is your separate property. But from today, for the next 20 years, anything that you accumulate in that 20 years, you got to split it with old boy if he decide, if you decide to kick him to the curb at that time.
It's called a prenuptial agreement.
What you say, Gannon?
I said that's called a prenuptial agreement.
Well, yeah, then you got to deal with that too. And it could be a matter of, if you're dealing with an estate or something like that, the prenups could come into play. But yeah. But now, what happens if, Regina, you decide for your homestead property, you're going to put old boy on the mortgage? you decide that, hey, I am just so in love that I know we're gonna be together for the rest of our lives. And old boy is going to give me his paycheck every payday. So he's gonna help me pay for this house. I'm gonna put him on the mortgage. I am putting him on my deed of trust. Then it becomes, you're transferring that property, the title. You're sharing an ownership at that point. So he's now entitled to your house. Or I could go the other way. That unmarried fella, that fella you're gonna fall in love with or already fall in love with, he could do the same thing. His house could become your homestead because he's putting you on the mortgage. Now that's what Quicken Loans said, y'all. Well, I'm saying it too, that's true. That makes sense?
Yes, thank you.
And this is just a tidbit. You didn't really have to know any of that necessarily to do your job, but oftentimes I find that it's good to have a little background. Okay, so that's all I got. And now we're to, I just want y'all to have a prosperous year. We still got 15 minutes, but I know y'all gonna have a prosperous year, and that's my wish for you from our house to your house. And then I'm just gonna give away this little notary journal. I ordered it. Sometimes when I see little cute stuff, I want to order it so I can see what it looks like. But it's not the kind of journal that I want to use, because I got this one. I keep looking, I use this is my official journal. Can y'all see that? That's the one I get from the National Notary Association. But one of my students had this, get it from the internet for like $13, I think. I love this one. And I was ordering another one of these. It doesn't have as many pages as the big one, but I love it because I don't have to worry about trying to hide somebody's information, because it's like one page per signing. And then when you're done with that, you can flip it over that way and you go to the next story. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay, just to show you. So I love these. So this is what I use now. The other thing I'm going to say about when you start journaling, make sure that you know your state guidelines, because some of the stuff that's in your journals as a sample for you to follow, it's not for your state. Texas has a minimal of information. All of you who've been to Notary 101 know that there's a minimal of information that you will put in your journal. So regardless as to what the sample shows you, make sure you're following your state guidelines. Any other questions? Then we're gonna do our giveaway. DeSoto, what's your name?
Magdalena Christian.
I'm wondering why you got DeSoto 1 up there and not your name.
Oh, I need to change that.
You sure do.
Yes, ma'am.
You had your camera off too. Hey, y'all.
Oh.
I know I said we were done, but let me tell you, Magdalene, tell them where we met, girl.
At Jennifer's holiday luncheon in Roanoke, Texas. And we had featuring Bill Soroka. So that was wonderful. And I also got to meet you. So I was very excited.
I was so excited. I was bouncing off the wall, y'all. I was so excited to be out, because that was the first time I've been out in a group like that, people I don't know. And I was just loving on everybody. I was hugging everybody. I didn't kiss nobody, but I was hugging and shaking hands and all that craziness that we're not supposed to do yet, but we were doing it. It was, and the food was so good. But yeah, so Madeline's coming to class on the 22nd. So I invited her to come up with that. And now there's somebody else. Are you here? Who else was that? Who has not been to class yet, but I had them come. I invited them to come today because I will be doing this every month and I will be inviting everybody who comes to class. If you've got some questions that you need answers to, or just something you're curious about, then send me the questions. And Tamika will send the link out when she sends the just letting you know that we're about to have our monthly coaching and mentoring session. And then all I'm going to ask y'all to do, because I don't recognize all faces all the time. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to just change your name on the camera so I know who you are. Can we do that? And then Tamika is going to send this video. She's going to make it into a video and she's going to send it out to you guys. And Mr. Gannon, that means you too. Rush Hour Notary. Perhaps I should have known, but I did not. So we're happy to have all of you. So Tamika, you want to do that little raffle thing?
Okay, we're gonna do a random number again.
If that's how you want to do it, yes, ma'am.
Okay, random number. This time we're gonna go to 15. And just put it in the chat.
Well, not everybody put a number in. I guess somebody don't really want this journal.
The number is 13.
Number is 13.
Robin, you won again?
Yes.
No, well, son, well,
Day.
I think I picked 13.
Sonia got 13. I don't see 13 for Robin.
Yeah, I put 13 in.
Where are you? Well, Mika saw it, but I don't see
No,
you.
I didn't see it. I just saw her reaction. And normally
Oh,
when people
did it not go through? Hold on. I know I put enter. I thought I pushed enter.
I don't see you. But anyway.
She just did it now.
I didn't hit the arrow.
Now, Robin, you know I can't do that. We already said the number. But and I don't have another one. Because like I said, it's just something I ordered. And Sonia, now Tamika asked that y'all put it in the chat.
Well, I wrote it down. But we know you need it to be text.
Yeah, text it to me because I need your address because I gotta mail it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then if you don't like the layout, what I do when I get a book that I don't particularly like the layout for, if I know it before I start using it, I just put it aside as a backup. And then that's how I use it if I have to. Or I use it as a backup. But if you start using a journal, even if you don't like it, because I did have one that I did not like, and it was big, but I had to finish it because you can only use one journal at a time. So you can't decide you don't want it anymore and just say, I'm gonna use a new one. You've got to use that same journal. That makes sense? All right,
Yes.
So send me your information and I will send your journal within the next week when I go to the post office.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else got anything to give away? Y'all got anything you want to give away? Or you got any other questions? Look at all y'all beautiful faces.
Look at yours.
Donna, I see you got that thing working. I'm glad. We're so happy all of you are here. Sylvia, glad to see you. All right. So, what you say? Okay, I guess she wasn't saying anything. So anyway, y'all, everybody ready for Christmas? You got all your shopping done?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to post something in, well, I don't know when Mika's going to post it. I gave her something. And it's about the holiday, the work during the holiday. I saw an article today that said the interest rates drop, just before Thanksgiving. So a lot of people are there, a number of closings scheduled. They're in the pipeline. So that increased the refinances. So you can expect to be busy over the holiday, during this holiday season. So a lot of people will not work during the holiday. They say, I want to enjoy my family and my friends, and I don't want to work on the holiday. It's a prime opportunity for newbies to get some business. You could quite possibly become someone's favorite because you are working during the holiday. You're dependable and you've done a good job. Anytime you step out there, you want to do the best job possible. And hey, they will keep calling you back. But pace yourself so you don't wear yourself out, okay? But holiday season, like Tamika typically won't work on her birthday. That's what she said when she went to a 9-to-5 job. She didn't work on her birthday. Tamika, what are you doing on your birthday weekend? Her birthday is this weekend. No.
I was going to say, I'm not working on my birthday, but I am working on my birthday weekend, which is a no-no. Normally for me, I'm traveling. I go somewhere for my birthday, but I am working. But I'm working for myself, so it's a little bit different.
When you're working for yourself, it makes a difference about how you manage your time and how you decide where your income, if you, how much, what I'm trying to say is that when you're working for yourself, that income comes when you work. And if you do not work, the income is not going to be there. Now to say, I'm not going to work on the weekend, I'm not going to work on the holiday, I'm not going to work on my birthday. That's a personal decision, but look at the potential opportunity you may very well have by working on a holiday. I ain't gonna say go out there and do no signings on Christmas Day, but Christmas Eve, you might. New Year's Eve, you might. New Year's Day, you might. So anyway, anything else, y'all?
Are there a lot of signings on Sundays?
No, not a lot, but every once in a while, there may be one.
Okay.
You also don't have a lot on Saturdays, but I do have one this Saturday. But you do get them on Saturday, but not a lot. Most of your closings are going to be Monday through Friday between 8 and 5. You do have some that are late in the evening, but most of them are done during the day. And that's why if you are part-time and you do not have the flexibility during the day, you can say you're gonna do one like Regina said. She'll take a seller package that's close by and she'll do it on a lunch hour and make that $85. That is a part of her business plan. So if you have flexibility during the day and you can do that, then great. You're gonna pick up some business, but you just have to know your limitations. That makes sense?
Yes.
Tanya, did I hear you say anything on here?
No, I'm just listening.
Oh, you ain't got nothing to say to us?
No.
Okay, all right. Well, y'all go and make the rest of the week prosperous. Make this a great holiday season. And I hope I will see you guys in our January free coaching and mentoring session. Again, anything you want to talk about, we're here to talk about it. There's usually enough of us on here that if one of us does not have the answer, the other one will. And if we don't, we can find answers. Depending on what it is, shoot, we might just go to Google right here and find it together. How about that?
Sounds great.
All right then. Well, I'm going to sign off and I appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you as well. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Miss Liz.
Merry Christmas. Happy